7 months ago, I was sucker punched by my wife's AP in a bar. My wife, her brother and his wife, and my wife's best friend and her husband decided to grab drinks after attending a concert. I don't drink, so I became the designated driver as usual. At one point, the ladies went to the restroom and two came back, but my wife did not. Her best friend stated she was having some stomach trouble and would be along shortly. After a few minutes, I needed to go myself, so I went to the restroom. As I made my way through the crowd, I spotted my wife standing and talking to a man. He had his hand on her hip and she had hers on his shoulder. It struck me as a very intimate pose. She noticed me immediately and disengaged with the man as I reached them. She grabbed my arm to pull me back toward our table as I asked who he was. The guy replied, "None of your business," and at the same time, my wife pulled me again. As I turned to her to ask her again who this was, the guy punched me on the side of the head. I stayed on my feet, but I immediately felt myself going back. He had tackled me and slammed me against the wall hard enough to where I blanked out. I could hear, but I could not see or make sense of what was going on. He apparently punched me at least twice before my brother-in-law tackled him and proceeded to beat him senseless. This was relayed to me later. My next coherent thought was in an ambulance. The AP was taken to the emergency room and later arrested. My BIL was arrested but charges dropped, and I stayed in the emergency room overnight and into the next day to rule out any side effects of a concussion. I was interviewed by the police eventually, and they seemed surprised that I did not know the man that attacked me. They said my wife told them it was a misunderstanding and that the guy was someone she worked and got handsy and everyone just overreacted. A day or two later, my BIL, who had been very cold toward my wife since that night, came by and sat down and explained he needed to tell me something. Apparently, while I was knocked loopy, the guy kept telling everyone he had been fucking my wife for months. Obviously, I was completely stunned at this. He told me he didn't have proof, but he believed the guy was telling the truth. He struggled with telling me, so he did some research on how the best way to handle this was, and he realized that it was the right thing to do to tell me. He used Reddit as part of his research and recommended I join and read some of the posts about infidelity and make a decision on how to handle this. That's when I joined Reddit and this account was born. It didn't take long to realize that I needed to get my emotions under control and start looking for facts. Apparently, gaslighting and rewriting history is common, and I am 100% sure my wife would do this. So I cried, yelled, punched, etc. I got it out of my system as much as I could. That night when she came home, I could barely contain myself, but every day it got a little easier. 2 days later, I was able to get a hold of her phone and did a quick search, and there it was. Pictures, texts, videos, etc. All of it. She didn't even try to hide it. She's not tech savvy, but then again, she knew I never checked her phone. Over the next few days, I was able to copy the texts between them and the pictures and videos. Eventually, I checked other texts and realized her BFF was helping her hide it and was encouraging it. The BFF actually confesses to having her own affair a few years ago. I exported those texts. My BIL and I made the mutual decision to exclude him from any further information the day he told me, but I did reach out to my sister. Her and her husband have rental property, and they promised to give me a heads up when they have a home open up so I can have a place to stay. That took almost 6 months, but I now have a home I can rent and I am able to finally leave. It's been horrible these past few months, acting like I care about our marriage and trying to love a person I have been married to for 32 years and together for 35 years. Yes, we have had sex during this time, not often. It has not been gentle, I am ashamed to say, nor has it been to satisfy her in any way. It's basically been very impersonal, a means to an end. I have to act like I did not see the videos and pictures she made with him and for him, or read the I love yous in their texts, or when he texted her 3 days after hitting me and bragged about taking me down so quickly, and her replying with a smiley face emoji. The pain that level of betrayal brings is beyond bearing at times. With that, I am now ready to leave. I have divorce papers in hand. I have an envelope full of copies of the texts, pictures, and stills from the videos. I know who he is and where he lives. I know who his wife is and where she works. I even know his children's name and where they go to school. I am torn about disrupting their lives, but I am most definitely going to send a copy of everything to his wife. I am struggling with confrontation or ghosting. I understand the dangers of confronting her and how she can play it into a situation where I could get arrested, but I truly want to see her face when I show her everything I know. Maybe it's having to stay quiet for all these months, but I really want that view of shock and possibly shame when I tell her. But I can also see the benefit of just leaving it on the counter and walking away. This may be silly to ask everyone, but until now I have had a clear goal to gather and prepare to leave, but now I have a choice and would like some opinions. Some quick info about us. Finances are separate with a joint/savings. I have a larger retirement, but she has a pretty well-funded one herself. We sold our family home 2 years ago and bought a small, empty nester's home. Paid cash and invested the rest in retirement. I am male 58 and she is female 57. We both have taken good care of ourselves physically, and she is every bit a beautiful woman. The AP is 35. We have 3 children, 31M, 28F, and 25F. The oldest is married and the other 2 are living on their own with solid careers and stable relationships. If I ghost her, I will need to contact them and talk to them so they do not worry. I plan to either confront this week or ghost next weekend while she and her BFF have a shopping trip to a major city 2 hours away planned. Update 1. Wow, this really has been overwhelming. In less than 24 hours, I've had a lot of questions and a lot of great opinions. I'll try to answer some of the common questions. She has shown only a slight concern early on after the assault that I might suspect something. Last I looked at her phone was over a month ago, and she was completely back into the affair, with no mention of me knowing. They stopped meeting up for about 3 weeks after the assault, but continued sexting and sending videos. She did express a need to stop before she lost her family, but as of last month they were still meeting up and having sex. He was arrested and did a plea deal for simple assault, spent Saturday night, Sunday, and Monday in jail until he was released on bail. Got community service and paid some court fines. Wife explained away the guy's claims by saying he had a crush on her and was just drunk. I plan on telling the OBS, the BFF's husband, and notifying HR at their work. I have a plan for them. I'll tell our kids. She is a good mother. I'm not sure of the circumstances that have resulted in her making the choices, but she is still their mother, and not once has she been neglectful to them or their needs. Again, thank you all for your advice, and the many of you have made some really good arguments for both ghosting and confrontation. Plus, I appreciate the precautions you have suggested in case I confront her. Update 1.5. Again, just to answer some things that have come up in the comments. I have taken an STD test since the last time we had sex, which has been a while. Clean. My lawyer has paperwork completed and we have a proposal that is fair, and the lawyer doesn't care how she is served, just as long as there are police involved or abuse. Alimony is a thing, but due to my situation and the fallout from my exposure, there are backup plans in our proposed divorce settlement. I'll leave that alone for now, but suffice to say, there will probably be a cost, but not something I'm worried about. Again, since I have plans to contact all that have been affected, I'm sure there will be a certain financial cost, especially if she loses her job. I'm not worried about anyone else. Can't get sued for exposing facts. I'm not interested in suing anyone, even if I could, not sure. The energy I'm expending right now and have over the past few months is not worth it to me to get some nominal court ruling. I have pretty much concluded that ghosting is the right thing. I have read how others have done it on here, and I will probably utilize some of their tactics. I have a plan to get one more look at her phone later this week. I have not looked at it for some time, but an opportunity has come up that all but ensures I can look and have a very, very low risk of getting caught. I don't want to get this far and screw it up now. She has been more present lately. I really haven't noticed it until this morning. Not sure what is going with that. And what I mean is she's back to asking about my day, going out of her way to kiss me bye and hello. After reflecting a little, this seems to have started about a week ago, so something has shifted, I think. That's another reason why I want to look at her phone again. Not that it will change anything, but this will be the final time I have an unfiltered view of what has been going on. Once I ghost her, I won't be able to gather any more information. Finally, I don't plan on going into gory details with my children. I will tell them, but honestly, the conversation will just happen naturally. I cannot in any way plan out that conversation. Thanks again, everyone, for your help and support. I'll probably go quiet until afterwards at this point. I'm already worried about giving too much info out. Update 2. I checked her phone for one last time and learned that she has apparently ended the affair. This appears, based on dates, to have happened just 2 days after my last peek at her phone. Obviously, I can only go by what I see, so I'll accept that she did end it. The real evidence came in her BFF messages. She confirmed with her BFF and stated that she had been trying to end it since the incident in the bar, that she claims snapped her back to reality. Still took her almost 5 months, so go figure. She even addressed the smiley face reply by saying she was too scared to say anything against him because it looked like everything was blowing up and she didn't know what he was capable of doing. Again, took 5 months to end it. Her BFF stayed true to her shitty character. My wife almost confessed twice in the past month, but BFF talked her out of it. One of these I actually remember based on what she told her friend. She had come home for lunch a week ago this past Monday. Not unheard of, but rare and had not happened in the last year. Her eyes appeared swollen like she had been crying. She was going to tell me that day, but chickened out. Oh, and the BFF gave me enough clues to figure out her AP. While trying to talk my wife out of telling me, she said, BFF's husband would have kicked me out and left me broke 2 years ago if he knew I fucked our neighbor. Not to mention how upset BFF's daughter would have been. BFF's daughter was a senior in high school 2 years ago. Their neighbor across the street was and is a math teacher at her high school. He and his wife are known to us, obviously, as he has been a teacher for over 10 years at the same school. So? Yeah, another family blown up by infidelity. Nothing has changed. I have decided ghosting is probably the best route. I have my plan ready, but I'll save that. I think I need to keep these as actual updates and not talk about future plans or ideas. I don't know when I'll update because the plan I have will be a kind of 1-2 punch, and I expect a lot to happen quickly and then things settle down. Then I have a third punch, so to speak. And again, I'm getting a lot of legal advice. I appreciate your concern, but I have a lawyer that I am happy with and has given me plenty of legal advice. No offense, but since I'm paying her for legal advice, it's her legal advice I'll follow. Divorce in my state is pretty straightforward and not very hard. Very short waiting period if uncontested. I'm aware of the ramifications of what I'm planning. Thanks everyone for your support and advice. Those that have reached out in private, thank you. Some I have had discussions with, other I have not. Please don't take offense, just too many to engage with. Again, thank you. Update 3. Well, it's done. Yesterday, after she left with her BFF and 2 other lady friends on her shopping trip, I set everything in motion. It mostly went as planned. The moving guys were about 2 hours late, but that worked out okay. Most of my stuff I had packed slowly over the past weeks, and the bulk of the things to move were large items. Mainly my office, desk, chair, bookcases, etc. Took about 2 hours to pack up the office stuff and store my workshop items. Earlier that morning, in a fit of pettiness, I took a hacksaw to my wedding band and cut it in 2. I placed it on top of the divorce papers and a copy of the evidence I had of her affair, minus anything about her BFF or anything from their texts. Closed the door and left. Met with 2 of my 3 children in person. The youngest could not make it but joined us via FaceTime. That was difficult. Telling your children something of this nature is hard no matter their age. There was a lot of crying, a lot anger too. They asked the typical questions. Are you sure? Can you work through this? Again, it was tough. I told them who it was and that given his history, they should probably be more aware of their surroundings, though I don't think it will come to anything violent. Against them, at least. I would not tell them where I'm staying yet. I explained I need some peace and quiet, and that I did not want to put them in the position to lie to their mother. I explained if they needed to get up with me, to contact their aunt. After some long hugs, I headed to my new house. I did call my wife's brother. He and I have more of a brother-type relationship than BIL, so I felt I needed to update him. He wished me luck, and we made plans to get together later after things had settled down. I then phoned my sister and updated her, and then shut my phone down. I slept really hard last night. I believe the mental and physical exhaustion has finally caught up with me. Emotionally, I'm pretty even. No fits of anger or sorrow. I think relief is a good description of what I'm feeling right now. I can't update you on my STBXY. I turned my phone on long enough to check on my kids and post this. There are a lot of missed calls and texts. I have not read any of them, though I can see the beginning of a few of them in preview on my notifications. Lots of "I'm sorry," "please call," and "where are you?" texts. I plan on ignoring them. I'm not finished. I have others to notify. So I'll update then. Update 4. OBS has been notified. Monday, I went into the office long enough to contact a messenger service. Barely missed my STBXW who had come by looking for me. Anyway, I had a messenger take the evidence and a letter to the OBS at her workplace. Made sure she signed for it. I then sent a text to STBXW. The exchange went like this. Me, I have notified OBS and gave her the same evidence I left you. There was about a 5-minute delay and she replied, I am sorry you felt the need to do that, but I understand. After no reply from me, she then texted, does this mean we can talk? I shut my phone off. Anyway, the letter briefly described what was in the package, and I gave her an email to contact me by, a new Gmail, if she wanted. I did hear from her the next day, just a thank you, and she would reach out if she decided she wanted to speak to me. Now, why did I text my STBXW? I felt she needed to know for safety reasons. I am sure one of my children would have done it for me, but I am not going to involve my children in this any more than they have to be. I still have not read any texts or emails or voicemails from my STBXW. I will someday maybe, but I have left them all on red. I still need to notify BFF's husband, and then maybe I can let this play out on its own from here. Thanks for the posts and DMs. Your support has been generous and appreciated. Update 5. A small update. This probably more of a therapy post. First, OBS reached out again last night and stated, while I appreciate your informing me of my husband's infidelity, I am not interested in any long conversion with you or anyone else about this. Just please provide me the answers to the following questions. Do you plan to contact my husband's workplace? Do you plan to divorce your wife? The answer to the first one was simply, I have not thought about much, so told her the truth that I don't know yet. Second one was a resounding yes. The work thing is probably a definite yes. I just had not put much thought into it. The SBTX has stopped calling, but over the last few days has been sending one long text around 8 p.m. I have not read them, but she appears to be just using it as a way to talk to me, confessional, and therapy. I still plan on telling the BFF's husband. I have that planned soon. I was not ready for the emotional roller coaster since leaving. I had thought I had put any doubts and fears behind, but they do creep in. I'm doing the whole workout, no drinking, and hobbies thing, so I'm keeping busy. I've been speaking with others via DM, and I'm thinking therapy might be something I need to look into. I seem lost. After all the planning and goal setting to leave, I now find myself at lost at what to do. One final thing. The children informed me that their mother has asked for them to come and meet with her in our old home tomorrow. That's all the information I have, other than she told them she wanted to clear the air and answer any questions they have. This is typical of her. She probably plans on holding this meeting and be brutally honest and sincere in her apologies, which is a good thing. But in her mind, after that, it will have been settled. I hope I'm wrong, but that's her usual way of handling conflicts and issues. Oh yes, my children know where I'm staying now. They have already informed their mother to not ask, and that they will respect my request for privacy. And nothing in the legal front yet, but is still a little too soon. Update 6. Sunday evening, I had a long discussion with my oldest daughter. She is basically playing the mediator at this point, for lack of a better description. She informed me that meeting with their mother started out bad. STBX, as I predicted, told the truth, but then shifted into mom knows best mode and attempted to push her way through to a resolution on her terms with the children. They would not have it. My son spoke up and stated plainly to her that the only reason they were there at this point was that she gave birth to them, and at this time, did not respect her, trust her, and were ashamed of her. This really hit the STBX hard. I'm proud of them. Based on her reaction and demeanor throughout the rest of the meeting, my daughter believes she is realizing the damage and irreparable harm she has done the family as a whole. All of them have agreed that unless it's an emergency, that they and their mother take a 2-week break from each other. Allow the children to decide what they need from her, and for her to formulate a plan on trying to mend the family. They also drove home the point that she needs to stop contacting me directly for a while, and that when I am ready to talk to her, I would. This happened Sunday, so except for one time, and I'll explain that in the next paragraph, I have not heard from STBX. One thing she did, I will say I do appreciate, was that the STBX self-reported to HR and handed in her resignation. She threw herself and the app under the bus. So I guess I should say good for her. She already has a job somewhere else lined up, so at least she's not looking to sit at home. Monday was BFF's day to have her life interrupted. I swung by BFF's husband's place of business and had a sit-down with him. I showed him the texts, and I'll have to say that was almost as hard as seeing my wife's texts for the first time. He teared up, and I was afraid he was going to have this huge emotional breakdown, but instead, he was crying in relief. Apparently, he has suspected something when she was having her affair, but she gaslit him and made him feel as though he was crazy. The man was so relieved that he was not crazy for how he felt. I was just shocked. How do these people do this and not understand the damage they are doing to people they supposedly love? Anyway, I gave him the number to my lawyer and suggested he at least talk to her before he decides anything. Well, he didn't. He went home that afternoon and walked across the road and gave a copy of the texts talking about his wife and the math teacher's affair to the math teacher's wife. From what he told me later, she has kicked the math teacher out of the house, and BFF's refusing to leave the house. So BFF and her husband are cohabitating, and he is planning on filing for divorce. That's all I know of those two situations. STBW reappeared in my text messages irate that I would destroy someone else's marriage just to get back at her, and that it was bad enough that I had told AP's wife, but now I have told the BFF's husband about something that happened years ago. Yes, I read that text because it started out as, "You fucking piece of shit." So I was curious, and quite frankly, I suspected it was about BFF. I have not heard from her since. On the legal front, at the 30-day mark from when she received the divorce papers, if she has not responded, then a hearing will be automatically set before a judge. At that hearing, a determination will be made to recommend mediation, hearing before the judge to determine separation of assets and terms of the divorce, or a default judgment if she does not show. If she will respond to the divorce service, we can bypass the first hearing with the judge and agree to mediation, and then only have to have a judge sign off in it. But my attorney has not heard from her or an attorney representing her yet. For everyone having heartburn about service of the divorce papers, I just have to prove that she received them. She has admitted to sending them in texts the day is and following her getting home and finding the evidence I left her. The attorney has copies of all the evidence I have, plus she gets a copy of every text she sends me. We are getting close to that 30-day make. The pause in communication over the past 3 days has done wonders. There are actually times I don't think about this shit sometimes. BFF's husband has his own friends to talk to, so he's not really being a burden with his situation, though I would gladly help him if he needed it. The kids have made a concerted effort to not discuss any of this with me also, and that is helpful. That's about it. I'm working, exercising, and working some more. I'm heading to the coast this week to a condo a friend has. He believes a getaway will do me good, and I think he's right. I'll be leaving in about 3 hours from now. I'm all packed and ready to go. Just one more Teams meeting in an hour, and I'm heading out. Update 7. Not a very lengthy update. I received notice Friday that she has retained a lawyer and has informed the court she has an attorney. The way I understand it, our attorneys will contact the court and it will be assigned to a judge who will then set a mediation date. If we can't come to an agreement in mediation, then a hearing before the judge is warranted. If we can agree on mediation, then judge reviews it, and if they agree it's fair, then they sign off in it. We wait 30 days, and then it's over with. Divorced. My lawyer believes the best-case scenario is either right before Christmas or by the middle of January. So, yeah, just like that, she has blown up our lives, our kids' lives, our grandkids, possibly 2, maybe 3 other marriages. Hope you're proud of yourself there, honey. Nothing else really. No contact, no word from OBS, no word from BFF's husband. It's been blissfully quiet, and I'm feeling a lot less stressed. The kids have been great and have not even mentioned their mom. As I said before, the complete ghosting is not something I can maintain, but I'm all for continuing it as long as I can. Update 8. The update is the lawyers are now talking about mediation. I have been informed by my lawyer that STBXW wants a face-to-face meeting with me prior to mediation. Her reason for this is completely selfish. She wants to apologize in person and explain her mistakes in this and ask my forgiveness. In return, she will agree to whatever division of assets I want. Sure, okay. Lawyer says it's up to me, but there is not much I can gain by the meeting, nor much I can lose. At best, I can get a guarantee that she can't touch my retirement, which is tempting. As I said in an earlier post, that's the largest difference in our financials. While I make more, her earning potential is right there with mine if she wanted to once again attain her CPA license. There are other issues, though, that might mean taking the offer of a face-to-face meeting. BFF's marriage is deteriorating. Her husband has moved out and filed for divorce. Apparently, that was not BFF's only affair. He found evidence of 2 more, one since the affair with the neighbor. No information on the neighbor/math teacher's marriage, nor AP's. The children are being very supportive, but 2 of 3 feel like I should at least talk to STBXW. My youngest is mad at her and refuses to talk to her and respond to any attempt by her mom to reach out to her. This concerns me because regardless of our marriage issues, it's her mom, and I do not like to see that relationship in shambles. This is the other reason to agree to the face-to-face I referenced above. I took Friday off, began reading the texts and emails from STBXW. I finished yesterday and it was a crazy read. The begging, the anger, the shame from being caught, it was all over the place. And yes, she apologized for the effing asshole remark. She claimed that she felt like I was just getting back at her. She finally came to the realization of it was all a consequence of their actions, and getting it all out in the open was the only way to start any healing and stop all the lying. But as I read all of this, I was struck by how pathetic she is and how far she has fallen. She is a smart woman but fell for the attention and thrill of being desired, and then come at me with, "I'll do anything you want. I'll open the marriage one way. I'll have a threesome with you and another woman." An old reference to when we were younger and spoke about things we would like to do sexually within our marriage. It was never acted on, nor was I ever expecting her to do this. It was just talk. She talks about wanting to grow old together, helping to raise our grandchildren, traveling, how much she misses me. Well, I have questions. What did you think was going to happen when I found out? What was the end game here? Did it ever once cross your mind that what you were doing would literally kill me inside and destroy our lives together? How can I get over this? How can I trust you? To be fair, in her later texts and emails, she is showing what looks like remorse. Apparently, she started therapy, and her therapist has been holding her accountable for her affair. She's been texting every morning saying she lives me and misses me and how sorry she is for she did. And every evening I get a good night text saying the same thing. That's the highlights. Not much, but it helps me when I write it out. Update 9. So I had my first therapy session yesterday morning, and I think I'm doing the right thing with this lady. She's easy to talk to and was very reassuring. And at the same time, she was focused. Maybe not the best word, but she listened but never let me just get my way with anything or let me gloss over anything. I like her. We spoke about EMDR, which she does. All in all, a very good first meeting. Ask her about the meeting with STBXW, and her response was, it's too early for her to comment on it, but common sense is I'm probably not ready, nor would it be a good idea. Lawyer advice was basically the same, but other reasons. I gave her the idea I received from one of the great people here. Agree to a meeting after we sign everything and divorce is final. She has no problem with going with that. She also thinks I should continue no contact. We have a mediation meeting slated for December 9th, but I can get an agreement with her by then using her wanting to meet. I'll be able to forego that meeting. Anyway, we'll see. Sat with the children this weekend. We all had a Sunday dinner together, then later that night discussed the offer. I explained I didn't want to meet with their mom and the reasons why. They understand. I also told them that the therapist and lawyer's input would also dictate what my decision would be. Of course, both have reaffirmed continued no contact, so no contact it is. I did not share any legal strategies with them, simply because it puts them in an awkward position. Also, for those that seem to not know, my children know everything now. They are not pro their mother or anything. They are just being human and want to keep peace as much as they can between their parents. The 2 oldest are more practical than my little girl. My youngest, she's very upset with her mother and very vocal about it. Personally, I'm doing better. Therapist gave me some exercises to help with triggers until we meet again next week. I'm working out and walking. The neighborhood I am living in is quiet and large wooded lots, so it's been pleasant walking early mornings. My sister received a call from my STBXW, and she was asking if I was okay. Sister was cordial until STBXW let it slip she had found out where I live now. My sister warned, under no circumstances was she to come near me. STBXW assured her she was not. She was just checking on me. STBXW took the rest of the call to apologize and tell sister how much of a shit she was for what she did to me and her family. Sister aggressively agreed, though her reasoning in letting my sister know where I am living right now baffles me. I will assume she will show up at some point. I'll handle it if she does. I'm guessing she won't show. It's probably her way of letting me know she's being a good person and respecting my boundaries. I'm different now. This has fundamentally changed me as a person. The therapist assured me I will change even more before it is over, and to just remember to lean on my support group. I want to take the time to thank all of you here on Reddit. I'm really amazed that strangers from all over the world have taken the time to help me through this. Good people everywhere. Thank you.